Tormented Souls is a new upcoming horror game that I'm sure is going to hit more than a few people with some seriously nostalgic vibes. It's very reminiscent of the classics to the genre like the original Resident Evil and early entries in the lost but not forgotten Silent Hill franchise. And don't be fooled by that nostalgic energy. It is absolutely intentional, as all the marketing has been very clear about this being a throwback to those games. Fixed camera angles, tank movement, inventory management, heck, they even got the limited save thing. Like the ink ribbons in old RE games, like same thing, really. So, cards on the table, I've never really played any of the really old Resident Evils except for the remake of 2 and 3, but I'm not going to even try to pretend that's the same thing, and I have definitely never played anything from Silent Hill. The reason why, though, if I'm being honest, is I really didn't like the idea of fixed camera horror games or tank controls. All that just sounded really unappealing to me. While I personally enjoyed the stories a lot of those older titles had, I just never had the desire to play them before. That is until now, because I actually really enjoyed my time with Tormented Souls. While it's clear there's a lot in this game that's meant to appeal to those who grew up with the classics, it's pretty fun in its own right with its own interesting story. Now, obviously, if you hate any of the games I've mentioned or this style in general, I don't think there's anything here for you. But if you're like me and relatively new to this particular subgenre, Tormented Souls can be a nice modern introduction into the world of this older style of horror game, which kinda has its own appeal now considering how notoriously difficult it can be to properly run these older games on newer hardware. I mean, sure, you can get emulators to work, but in my experience, nothing can ruin a spooky game's atmosphere faster than crashing back to desktop and having to load a save from over 2 hours ago. Or heck, maybe that's part of the scares. Ooh. Getting back to the game though, Tormented Souls runs really well and I didn't have any issues with crashing or bugs while playing the demo. The environments look great and really capture the creepy, dark atmosphere to pull you into it. Admittedly, the characters and facial animations are a little janky looking to me, and while that may be part of the aesthetic the game is going for, I can't help but be taken out of the moment sometimes with how stiff they are. On the other hand though, the really cheesy voice acting doesn't bother me in the slightest.
An old magnetophone. It looks like it works. Recording my progress might be useful if anything happens to me.
I actually think it's quite charming, especially when our lead's inner Canuck peeks out.
What? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
The puzzles in the demo were a bit of a mixed bag for me though. The first few weren't too bad, and I think were more about highlighting the importance and paying attention to not only your clues, but to the actual state of the items themselves, which is pretty cool and unique. The generator puzzle was also okay, but it did kind of annoy me that part of the hint actually lies to you about the solution. It intentionally gives you the wrong number to solve the puzzle with, just to ensure you have to go back across the room one last time, or maybe more if you can't figure out what it's actually telling you. That felt a little frustrating. The last puzzle though, that actually really pissed me off. Like, okay, I genuinely don't know how I was supposed to figure this out. Like, you need to input the correct pattern of symbols on this key to open the door to progress, right? And I looked everywhere. I did some serious backtracking for the answer. I still don't know what the logic is behind the solution because I had to look it up, honestly. After an hour looking, I had to call it. The only clue I could find having anything to do with anything was right in front of the door. But how is this clue supposed to help me? I mean, seriously, look at this. How the fuck does pentagram salute translate to X triangle hexagon? Honestly, maybe I just missed it somewhere, but that one really did leave a bad taste in my mouth. And while it does have me a bit worried about some of the puzzles later in the game, it hasn't ruined my expectations. Yet. All in all though, I'm actually still really interested in what's to come for Tormented Souls, and I'm strongly considering picking it up when it releases. I think there's a lot of potential here for a really enjoyable horror game. The visuals look nice, it feels challenging in the right way most of the time. The story seems interesting on its surface, and the music sounds really good. This has been a nice little surprise of a game, and even if it's a month or so early, I think it will be a fun addition to people's mix of seasonal Halloween games. Maybe if it's really good, it might make it into another longer video on here, so potentially look out for that. Hint, maybe? I don't know, I haven't played it yet. I only got the demo, it hasn't come out yet. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching the Resource 13. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like the video and subscribe, or maybe just check out some of our other stuff too. We have a whole playlist waiting for you. Either way, have a good one,